Good morning. Thank you for joining me in this morning mindfulness practice. Let's assume that today is going to be wonderful. Neville Goddard says the assumption of the wish fulfilled is the ship that carries you over the unknown seas to the fulfillment of your dream. The assumption is everything. Realization is subconscious and effortless. Assume a virtue if you have it not. Act on the assumption that you already possess that which you sought. The assumption is the crown of mysteries because it is the highest use of consciousness. When in imagination you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are mentally lifted up to a higher level. When through your persistence, this assumption becomes actual fact, you automatically find yourself on a higher level. That is, you have achieved your desire in the objective world. Your assumption guides all your conscious and subconscious movements towards its suggested end, so inevitably that it actually dictates the events. The drama of life is a psychological one, and the whole of it is written and produced by your assumptions. Neville Goddard tells us to learn the art of assumption, for only in this way can you create your own happiness. Assume that you are already that which you want to be. Assume that you're happy. Assume that you're healthy. Assume that your desires are already yours. He says self-surrender is essential, and by that is meant the confession of personal impotence. I can of mine own self do nothing. Since creation is finished, it is impossible to force anything into being. Just like magnetism. Magnetism, you cannot make the law of magnetism, it can only be displayed. If you want to build a magnet, you can do so only by conforming to the law of magnetism. In other words, you surrender yourself or you yield to the law. In like manner, when you use the faculty of assumption, you are conforming to a law just as real as the law governing magnetism. You can neither create nor change the law of assumption. It is in this respect that you are impotent. You can only yield or conform. And since all of your experiences are the result of your assumptions, whether consciously or unconsciously, the value of consciously using the power of assumption surely must be obvious. Willingly identify yourself with that which you most desire, knowing that it will find expression through you. Yield to the feeling of the wish fulfilled and be consumed as its victim, then rise as the prophet of the law of assumption. Neville Goddard is telling us that what you really want is yours, it's meant for you. But rather than forcing or wishing and hoping, you must become a willing participant in the laws of the universe. You must assume that what you truly desire is yours and put on that persona. Get into the state of being. Feel how you would be feeling once your goal is attained. Would you be overjoyed and excited and telling the world about it? Or would you just be naturally living that way? You are healthy. You don't run around telling everyone, hey, I'm healthy. You just are. You've gotten rid of any excess, any dis-ease, any fears and anxiety, and just allowed yourself to enjoy life and to embody the spirit of being healthy. You've taken care of this physical container that your spirit is in, nourishing food, adequate rest, building muscle, relaxing, unplugging and resetting, just like your computer needs to be unplugged and reprogrammed. Your mind must be unplugged. You can't be on all the time, or you will wear out. You'll be exhausted. What do you really want? Get into the feeling of being that healthy, happy, loving relationships, purposeful work, enjoying the fruits of your labor. You work hard, but what is it for unless you enjoy it? There should be no guilt associated with enjoying life. You're here to experience life. The joys, the sorrows, the ups, the downs. And what you want is available to you, but you must assume it, be it. What would it feel like to be in the state of being fulfilled? Your work is purposeful and you love doing your work to the point that time flies and it's the end of the day and you didn't even realize you've absorbed in doing what you love to do. And money just flows. Money needs to circulate, so as it flows into your life, share it, invest it, use it. Be grateful that money is your friend. It comes into your life, you welcome it in, you enjoy it, and you earn as much as you need. You have time and money freedom, so you have all the time you need to enjoy the money that you're earning. How would you be spending it? You have an excess. You invest it, and more is generated, and you can help more people. All things are possible. Neville Goddard says, it is a great significance that the truth of the principles outlined in this book have been proven time and time again by his own personal experiences. Over 25 years, he applied the principles and proved them successful in innumerable instances. He attributes to an unwavering assumption of his wish already being fulfilled every success that he achieved. He was confident that by these fixed assumptions, his desires were predestined to be fulfilled. Time and again, he assumed the feeling of his wish fulfilled and continued in his assumption until that which he desired was completely realized. Live your life in a sublime spirit of confidence and determination. Disregard appearances, conditions, in fact, all evidence of your senses that deny the fulfillment of your desire. Rest in the assumption that you are already what you want to be, for in that determined assumption, you and your infinite being are merged in creative unity. And with your infinite being, with God, all things are possible. Through the mastery of your assumptions, you are in very truth enabled to master life. It is thus that the ladder of life is ascended. Thus the ideal is realized. The clue to the real purpose of life is to surrender yourself to your ideal with such awareness of its reality that you begin to live the life of the ideal, and you no longer live your life as it was prior to this surrender. Let the dead bury the dead is what my mentor Bob Proctor used to say. It's past, it's gone. Don't let it affect you. Yes, it happened, but that's not who you are. You are infinite. That means you have infinite potential, and you can choose whatever life you want to live. Each assumption has its corresponding world. If you are truly observant, you will notice the power of your assumptions to change circumstances which appear totally immovable, immutable. You, by your conscious assumptions, determine the nature of the world in which you live. Ignore the present state that you don't want and assume the wish fulfilled. Claim it, it will respond. The law of assumption is the means by which the fulfillment of your desires may be realized. Every moment of your life, consciously or unconsciously, you are assuming a feeling. You can no more avoid assuming a feeling than you can avoid eating and drinking. All you can do is control the nature of your assumptions. Thus, it is clearly seen that the control of your assumption is the key you now hold to an ever-expanding, happier, more noble life. Now, assuming the feeling doesn't mean just sitting back and relaxing all day long, but it's not forcing and working harder and trying harder and harder and harder. You must do something. Assume that you are already your heart's desire. And what would you be doing if you were that, if you were there, if it was already yours for the taking? Neville Goddard often quotes passages from the Bible, and in James 1:22-25, he quotes, "Be ye doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like unto a man beholding his natural face in a glass, and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty and continue therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed." The word in this quotation means idea, concept, or desire. You deceive yourself by hearing only, when you expect your desire to be fulfilled through mere wishful thinking. Your desire is what you want to be, and looking at yourself in a glass, in a mirror, is seeing yourself in imagination as that person. Forgetting what manner of man you are is failing to persist in your assumption. The perfect law of liberty is the law which makes possible liberation from limitation. That is the law of assumption. To continue in the perfect law of liberty is to persist in the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. You are not a forgetful hearer when you keep the feeling of your wish fulfilled constantly alive in your consciousness. This makes you a doer of the work. And you are blessed in your deed by the inevitable realization of your desire. You must be doers of the law of assumption, for without application, the most profound understanding will not produce any desired result. As much knowledge as you have gained, you must apply it. You must put it to use in your world, in your life, in order to live your desire. Neville Goddard says, frequent reiteration and repetition of important basic truth runs through the pages of this book. Where the law of assumption is concerned, the law that sets man free, this is a good thing. It should be made clear again and again, even at the risk of repetition. The real seeker will welcome this aid in concentrating his attention upon the law which sets him free. The parable of the master's condemnation of the servant who neglected to use the talent given him is clear and unmistakable. Having discovered within yourself the key to the treasure house, you should be like the good servant who, by wise use, multiplied by many times the talents entrusted to him. The talent entrusted to you is the power to consciously determine your assumption. The talent not used, like the limb not exercised, withers and finally atrophies. How are you using your talents, your skills, your abilities? Are you putting the knowledge that you have to use, being the person that you desire to be? No excuses, no turning back and saying, I can't because. Put your talents to use. Focus on what you really want and go out and do it. If you don't use your talents, it's like going to the gym once and lifting weights and thinking that you're going to be a strong man. It takes building, it takes practice, it takes repetition, it takes consistent behavior. Consistently behaving as the person you want to be. What you must strive for, what you must strive after is being. In order to do, it is necessary to be. The end of yearning is to be. Your concept of yourself can only be driven out of consciousness by another concept of yourself. Have the concept of yourself, assume yourself already having what you wish, already being that which you desire. By creating an ideal in your mind, you can identify yourself with it until you become one and the same with the ideal. thereby transforming yourself into it. The dynamic prevails over the static. The active prevails over the passive. One who is a doer is magnetic and therefore infinitely more creative than any who merely hear. Be among the doers. Do what you really want. Create it in your mind and then do it in your physical world. Let's start with imagining what it would be like, assuming you already have the talent, the skill, the ability. You must put it to use. If you are a talented singer, you don't become a world-renowned singer with fame and fortune unless and until you sing for the world. You must do something. Use your talents. Whatever you want is available to you. Write down what it is you would love to be, to do, to have. Maybe you don't care about creating music or art, but you truly care about creating a wonderful family, a purposeful business that changes the way people do things, make life easier. Look at all the conveniences that are available to us in this day and age that were not available to our ancestors. Electricity, running water, appliances that just about run themselves, vehicles that start and run with a push of a button. What's available now is nothing compared to what will come. Just like our ancestors would be shocked by the vehicles, the appliances, the cell phones, the ability to talk to each other across the world. That all started in someone's imagination. The world we're living in now is gathering speed. It's changing at an unheard of rate. We must change and decide, what would we prefer? What would we love? What if there was no limits? You have all the time and money available to you. Write down what you want. Maybe you have a beautiful idea in your mind that has never been thought before. Reach into the universal mind, the intelligence, the nothingness that is all around us, where you get ideas. And as you focus your attention on what you want, ideas come. And as you take action, your life develops into what you wanted or something better. There are really no limits. What you can see in your mind, what you can believe is possible, is yours for the taking. Write down your fantasy. It's only a fantasy until it becomes fact. That takes spending time imagining it, feeling it, assuming that it's yours. Tapping into source energy, to the universe, to infinite intelligence, and starting to take a step, moving in the direction of your desire. And as you move, the next step is shown. You might fail. There will be challenges. But when you leave the past behind and decide, I want to be happy, I want to be healthy, I am happy, I am healthy, I am joyful, I am loving my life, I'm creating my life on purpose. You're here to do God's work, and that is to create, to co-create your life with the infinite. Not wait for it to happen, but to do what you want to do, to be the person you want to be, to take action on the impulses, the intuition that you have that tells you, that little voice inside your head that tells you you are made for more. Go do something about it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? And start living that way. Use your God-given talents. Improve your life and the world around you. And as you magnetize yourself to that beautiful, infinite energy, it flows to and through you, attracting to you all the resources, all the people, all the money, everything necessary for you to live life the way you choose. Create a wonderful day. Enjoy your life. I'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 7. Thank you.